I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Yep, you want your boy? Go pick him up. He's over here, on the fucking concrete where I left him.
On an individual level, we have to learn that they are vile.
Not worth calories.
And you're Gen Z, and you won't date me.
The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Gentlemen, welcome. Please find a seat and relax. We have a lot to discuss. Welcome, one and all. I'm KC.
And I am DC.
And we are two goddamn gentlemen, bringing to you this week and every week a celebration of all things drunken stupors and natural stupors.
Oh, shit, dude. John Daly. He was everything Arkansas that you think in your mind, except golf.
He checked every single box, DC. Head over to twogoddamngentlemen.com to cast your ballot in the Hall of Gentlemen voting booth, as well as find a link to our Twitter, a link to our YouTube, and a link to our Patreon, where you gain access into our live Discord during all free and bonus episodes. Leave us a voicemail to be heard on the show at 321-POV-FUCK. And don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast feed you use. And if it's Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and copy-paste your top comment on the favorite Pornhub video that you have.
Oh, man. I wonder what that comment would be. Something gentlemanly, I'm sure.
I would imagine we will find out. DC, if you would please, read back the minutes to last week.
Thank you, KC. So, as you stated, drunken stupors. I don't know which one was, probably John Daly, more of a drunken stupor. Totally a gentleman, +8. Good showing. Good showing for him. And a good showing for him in this week's PGA Championship. He opened the tournament at 1 under and was leading after one hole, which gentleman KC posted on Twitter. So
that's right. It was impressive.
I just saw that. I just stumbled across that.
I mean, it's the blessing that we give, is it not?
I think it is.
We're gift givers, and John Daly needed our blessing to return to form, and I'm sure he shot a 90, but he had the lead.
Yeah. Well, and he's lucky that I brought him in. If you had brought him in, he probably would have died of a heart attack like the night before the tournament.
No, nothing can kill. Even I cannot kill John Daly, I don't think.
And Timothy Dexter, another one of your long gone pirates of the 1700s, totally a gentleman as well, to the tune of +3. So nice work there. Natural stupor on that one.
100% natural.
I couldn't get out of my mind like somebody singing God Bless Amaraku or whatever the fuck how he spelled America in that fucking oh boy, that was rough.
Amercari, I believe it was, yeah.
Amercari.
Amercari. Yeah, Timothy Dexter. I was surprised not a gentleman, because he had some gentlemanly traits, I would argue.
Yeah, he was there. He was there. That was a typo. He's definitely a gentleman, but +3.
That's at a minimum. Okay, I read it.
Yes.
+3.
Yes.
DC, what about the top 3? You still have 2 of them, so go ahead.
Yeah, no movement as far as the rankings. It's still Harry Vox, Mel Gibson, Brigham Young to the tune of +61, 44, and 42. So Gibson and Young in a tight race there. Behind Young, actually there was a little bit of a jump. Don Vito, for fucking some reason, jumped up to 31 this week. So somebody's a huge Don Vito fan. Not enough to get them into the top 3. It would have taken you 4 more times voting. Maybe 5. But whatever. Next time. And the bottom 3, again, no movement. But you can do the honors on the scores if you like.
Yeah, you've got 2 of them, but I'd like to talk as well. Because my top 3 that I had dominated for a long time has slipped through my grasp. Your guy Maddox, -97, dangerously close. Dangerously close to dropping down below that line. And then Jake Paul is well below that line at -119. And Tommy Tudor, -330.
Untouched.
Yeah.
Untouched in his reign.
By everyone that had a choice. Untouched.
Correct. Correct. Casey, in other news, this is just recently posted online. Jonathan Yaniv's crazy mother. You may remember her from when I brought Jonathan in. I think there was a video of the two of them together. If not from an update of his, it's been almost a year since we started this podcast, and he was like episode 3 or 4. So he's going to get retired here any day now. His mom and aunt got arrested, and Canadian charges are so fucking gay for uttering threats. Uh-oh.
Classic Canada.
Assaulting a peace officer with a weapon. That's kind of funny that they call themselves peace officers. That's so stupid. And then uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm. Keep it to a mumble, please.
Absolutely no firm inside voices when giving threats.
Hey, did you utter that threat? No, sir. No, sir. I whispered it at most. All right, that's what I like to hear. Be about your business and get out of here. Low hanging fruit, Canadian the boot joke. You're welcome, everybody.
You nailed it too.
Thank you. That's all the updates I have. Porter Rockwell's still super dead.
Yeah, all my guys are still dead. That was mine. All of them. Every last one.
Every last one. Or about to be.
That's right. And DC, I will not be breaking. I will not be breaking that streak tonight.
No shit. Is he in this?
That.
Is he in this century?
Yeah, I think he made it past 2000.
All right. Well, why don't you start it out? Do the honors.
All right, DC. I am very excited to feature somebody back in the sports world. You know, you and I, we love sports, and we dive into Civil War and idiots from the 1700s that accidentally win trades. No. We have all kinds of guys, but this week for me, it is the one and only Jimmy the Greek.
Oh shit! The name is familiar. I know he's sports and betting, but specifics are foggy. So I'm excited to hear about this guy. I've heard he's a true gentleman. I have heard that.
He is fantastic. Born James George Snyder, and better known as Jimmy the Greek. He was born in Steubenville, Ohio, which is just a lovely town.
Steubenville.
Is there a more Ohio town
home of
name?
the Steubens? Home of the Steubens.
the proud Steubens.
Yeah, it was somebody's last name. They're like, the Steubens live up the road. Steubenville on Steuben Road. Those fucks.
Do you not think they were original?
No, they're very original. Very.
Yeah. So Steubenville.
They were the first to do it. And then Martin Luther King followed suit, posthumously. But it was his idea.
Everything in Connecticut here, I mean, it's no one had a creative bone in their body. New London.
No. Washington Street.
New Britain.
Yeah.
New Canaan.
Lime. Old Lime. That one's Old Lime down there.
That's right.
What? How about this?
Stupid.
What do you? Oh, there's a lake over here. What do you want to name it? Let's throw the Indians a bone. What do they call it? Oh, they call it Lake Poketipog. Oh, cool. Yeah, let's just keep that. Let's keep that and spell it as weird as they want. Okay, great. Oh, we're gonna need more letters on that sign. Just
can
make
we
it go
fit
a little
symbol?
further.
Is there a symbol that we can squeeze into that name?
Fuck, dude. Fuck the names over there.
So, Steubenville, not in Connecticut. Blue-collar town on the Ohio River.
Uh-huh.
And Jimmy had a rough childhood. So, one time he was outside playing as a kid. His mom and his aunt were kind of watching him. And they were like, all right, Jimmy, come on. It's time to go home. He's like, oh, come on, Ma. Let me play a little bit longer out here. This is going to be...
Sure.
I'm having so much fun. And they said, okay, you know what, Jimmy? You keep playing. That's a good idea. Have fun. And his mom and his aunt left, and on their way home, his uncle, who was not having a good time relationship with his aunt, murders his aunt and Jimmy's mother.
Oh.
On their way home. So,
Great.
Yeah, and then he shoots himself. Just to tie it all up,
Okay. So threat neutralized. Excellent.
Everyone else is safe. Yeah. So this molded Jimmy's personality in a lot of ways, as you could imagine. Kind of hardened his shell a little bit. He started acting out a little bit more. You mentioned in the beginning, you know him for gambling. Obviously, that's where we're going, and that's where this kind of begins. And Steubenville was a hotbed for all kinds of illegal activity. Drugs, women, gambling, everything you want, you can go find. And as a part of that, all the cops are involved. So Jimmy at 13 is like, I can just get involved in this. No one's going to stop me. And he was right. So he goes down to these different bookmaking joints, and there's like 11 of them in Steubenville, right? This is how crazy Steubenville is. How could you imagine? There's not 11 anything in Steubenville, right? Houses, maybe.
Right. Dogs.
Houses.
Dogs, for sure.
People is in question. But they have 11 bookmaking places in town. So he picks up every job he can, stacking chips, dealing cards.
I thought about doing that at the Mohegan, actually.
Yeah, you'd actually.
Yeah, I was playing there one time. I was like, "Hey, how hard is it to deal?" They're like, "Really hard." I was like, "Okay, never mind." That's how that went.
You're like, wow, you might not even be competent, but your reaction to my question has defeated me. So thank you.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you're super Asian, so I'm going to take you at your word. And so was half the table.
No way.
No way, guys.
So, no, I don't believe you. So, he's making bets in these places on, like, the Kentucky. He's doing some real Goodfellas shit, right? And he bets $80 on this horse Cavalcade in the Kentucky Derby. And this $80 was accrued by borrowing some, maybe taking some from his parents, who knows. And he wins his bet in the Kentucky Derby. He comes home with $1,400. And he's immediately hooked on gambling. He gets home, and his dad is pissed.
Right.
His dad is pissed. And he between school, right, quits in the 10th grade, and gambling now. Actually,
bringing home more money than him.
That's right.
Embarrassing him in front of the kids.
Luckily for us, back in the 30s and 40s when this was happening, it was actually the time of the first reality television show. So there was actually a camera crew in his house for this, and we actually have some footage here.
I'm so excited.
Just tell me about this. It's a letter from school. It says you haven't been there in months. In months! You think this is fun? But bum! You want to talk to me about it?
So that was Jimmy the Greek as a kid.
That was a good dad. Yeah, that was a good dad.
That was good parenting, in my opinion.
What are you going to do? Not beat the shit out of your kid?
That's right. And Jimmy gets the last laugh here. His dad actually did punch him in the face when he got home that day. And a week later, DC, you alluded to it without knowing it, but you knew it. Dad needs to buy the family a new refrigerator. Costs $1,000.
Yep.
And Dad doesn't have it. So Jimmy gives Dad the money, and immediately stops calling his dad Dad and starts calling him George for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's about, as soon as your dad steals from you, that's when you're on a first name basis.
So, a gentlemanly move, too. Just growing up
Sure.
you're George. He gambled every day. Horses, cards, anything he could find. Completely compulsive about gambling at this point. And he would never get caught up in winning big or losing big. It was all about what's going to happen today. This is going to be fun. He was just obsessed. Okay. And one of the things that he was best known for was his innovative ways of thinking about information back then when it comes to sports gambling. So what I mean by that is he and buddies would go down to the train station and go talk to all the guys that work on the railroad and say, hey, you're going to, Denver, San Francisco, Indianapolis this week? And they're like, yeah, we're going all over the place. All right, we'll pay you, bring us back all the local newspapers. Because in those local newspapers, you get the stories from the locker room about the quarterback's girlfriend, right? Or all of these
all the
things.
distractions. You get the beat writers that aren't online, so you can't just find every dipshit's opinion on shit. You actually had some sort of accountability back then, because it was the only way people found out information. And so if you fucked up, people will murder you. They'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, there's no Zoom call to go watch back or listen to on the team podcast feed.
You couldn't get a Pulitzer Prize by writing about fucking Eleanor Roosevelt like you can now, writing about fucking whoever Biden's wife's name is.
This information was vital to him, obviously, because the AP wire, which is what all the gamblers were using, would miss all of this personal stuff. And when the AP misses things, gamblers miss things, and Jimmy was not in that group. So in 1943, he puts this into practice, and he's still, I believe, in his teens, maybe early 20s. Notre Dame, best team in college football at the time, probably a Newt Rockne team, maybe just right after. And they're undefeated with 1 game to go. Their last game is against the sub-conference team, Great Lakes. And Great Lakes is plus 17 in this last game. And,
but the priest molested the quarterback. It's this big scandal. And he knew about it because the newspaper.
The real story is so much less funny.
Yeah, the Protestant newspaper printed that, whereas all the tickers were not getting that info about the diddling and such.
Yeah, he stood behind the door and listened in just to make sure. So he bets Great Lakes because his information not quite as exciting as yours. Just some inside information. This Great Lakes team has some really good players. Nobody knows about them. And he's like one of the only people that bets on this. And he bets a decent amount. He wins $62,000.
What year was this?
1943.
Good God. Dude,
the equivalent of $800,000 today.
I was going to say that's nearly $1 million. That's so much freaking money back then. And when he brought home $1,400 and his dad said, I need $1,000 for the refrigerator, he's fucking lying because you can get a good refrigerator for $1,000 now. Back in the 30s, dude, you probably buy a refrigerator for $75.
That's right.
Totally fine. $1,000.
He was buying a train ticket across the world to like the Arctic. That's the refrigerator he needed.
Yeah, dude.
It's cold there all the time.
He was
perfect.
He was buying an Irish slave. That's who were slaves, right? In the 30s and 40s, I think I have that right. It wasn't Mexicans yet. I'm pretty sure it was still maybe not the Italians, but maybe still the Italians and the Irish. That's who were our slaves.
Could have been. An Irish member of chat. We prefer helpers. That's cool.
It doesn't matter what you prefer.
As long as you get it done.
Drink up. Be here in the morning.
So this Great Lakes bet is what starts gaining him some notoriety, and he originally is referred to as the young Greek from Steubenville, obviously earning his new nickname that would stick forever. He was so compulsive about gambling, he gambled his entire fortune multiple times. But he would just bet everything he had because he just
put it all on black. I'm so tempted to do that. Like, I think I always have these funny revelations of what I want to do as like my last hurrah, because I don't want it to be like me, like a raisin in a bed with like sores on my asshole and shit, and like my family are coming in. I'm like, oh, I never loved you, or whatever that you say, like on your deathbed.
Whatever
right?
you make up at that point.
Whoever you think is in the room at the time. Hey, John Stamos, you really are a terrible person. John Stamos, what the fuck? Right? No, but I always thought it would be funny to gather my family together in some like really cheap casino, right? And just go to the roulette table.
Like in Johnstown,
this
Pennsylvania.
Is my yeah, and then just have, or like Reno, Nevada, not Las Vegas. So and just have this briefcase with whatever my life savings and estate, like liquidated. Like I'll do it in advance. I'll liquidate my estate and I'll have everything in this briefcase, and I'll just go, all right, everything on black. You guys split whatever's left, and then I'll just leave. And I won't even watch like what happens.
You just walk into traffic.
Sure. That's funny. Yeah, whatever, so I can't be like thanked or killed for whatever the result is, but it's going to be 50-50.
Whatever.
I don't want either.
You want the reaction to be a mystery forever for you.
That would be heaven. That would be heaven to me, is just being up there and for however long just being like, oh, fuck, that must have fucked with them so bad. That's all I want.
I feel it's a reasonable request, easy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll only be $500, so whatever.
That's right. That's right. You're gonna
At
be
the
like,
rate the baby boomers are leaving us.
honey,
Oh, shit.
kids, it's all going on red.
Whatever, Dad. Just walk into traffic already.
The dealer's like, sir, you are alone. Sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least I got John Stamos. Just my arm up in the air. Oh. Those will be the days.
Shit. So, Jimmy was a goddamn winner.
Okay.
As any gentleman is. He was once prepping to go out on a date, and he had a beard going, and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? Shave it down to a mustache. I'm going to go out on this date with a mustache. And his sister tells him, girls hate mustaches. We don't like them.
Yeah.
Please
Right.
don't wear a mustache out on this date.
Hitler and Stalin are still very much a thing to us.
It's really recent. So she convinces him, don't wear the mustache, and he doesn't do it. Now,
Okay.
Shortly after this, DC, there's a presidential election coming up. And this election is between Tom Dewey and Harry Truman. Now, Dewey, as we just saw, has a mustache. Sorry for how awful that is.
God damn it, I envy your power of timing. I really envy it.
It's a good time over here. So, Jimmy, the guy that is craving information at every moment, is like, okay, what can I do with this election? Here's what I'm going to do. He takes a few of his female friends and sends them to the grocery store, not for the normal thing that they would do on their own, but to gather him some information, which is poll women at the grocery store and ask them about mustaches.
I do remember this anecdote. This is great.
Find out if they like them. And what they found was it was a no to mustaches 4-1. Right? Women hate them. They don't like mustaches. Now, no one else was doing this research, but Jimmy was. And obviously, the story goes as we know. Everybody reporting Dewey beats Truman. Obviously not true.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy wins.
Yeah.
Jimmy bet $10,000 at 17-1 odds and came home with $170,000 on that election.
Man. And see, because the other people who were betting weren't used to women having the vote yet. Whereas Jimmy was like, I wonder what the women think about this whole thing. Jimmy was thinking, oh, well, the women have the vote now. It's going to be important what they think. Let's go ask them what they like about the mustaches, not their politics.
Not at all.
Let's ask the ladies, hey, which one do you prefer the looks of? And then he bet on the guy that the ladies would vote for because of their looks. That's hilarious to me. That's so funny.
Your character assessment there, based on what I have learned, dead on.
Yep, that's why Hillary lost, because the women hate Hillary because they all hate each other naturally.
That's right.
Like every girl that had an I'm with her sticker, that was a lie. They're never with each other.
Constantly the case. Now, Jimmy, he's a compulsive gambler. He's won and lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
What's he missing as a pro gambler? Living in Vegas.
True.
Living in Vegas. So now he heads to Vegas. One story I wouldn't have even included because it's really a nothing thing, but it just involves your football team. He was once arrested on a felony charge for giving interstate gambling advice about a Utah State game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. A lot of money on that game.
Yeah.
There's not. There's not.
Certainly not. Yeah, who gives a fuck about that game?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, fun fact. Utah State has beaten Utah more recently than BYU has, and it happened in 2012. Anyway, go ahead.
That was fun for someone. So, in Vegas, Jimmy becomes a huge deal. He works for Howard Hughes. He helps build Caesar's Palace to what it became. Becomes friends with Dean Martin. I mean, this guy is truly a gentleman in every way. He's instrumental in gambling becoming televised, right? The World Series of Poker can be traced all the way back, at least in terms of its ESPN run that we saw as
Dude, I love the World Series of Poker.
Oh, it's I can't watch it
I shouldn't because like just breaking it down to what it is just like watching people playing a card game. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, why would that be? I can't.
How
get
much
enough
did you
of
have to break it down to get to that?
One step.
Okay, just checking.
Which is why it's so weird, because it's so very apparent how stupid it is. Like, some shows you have to break down for people. Like, oh, you like the Kardashian show? Let me break something down for you. Who do you want to start with? Who's your favorite character? Let's start there. Gay.
That show's been on 10 years, I saw the other day.
I thought it was over. God damn it. I thought they were done. Aren't they on their last? I don't care. Whatever. I don't care.
Never seen an episode, DC, somehow. I've avoided it. So.
Oh, but I would, if I were living in California, I would vote for Kathy.
Who's Kathy?
I don't know. Who's Catherine, right? Isn't that her name?
Catherine, Kathy, I didn't get any closer to knowing what you're talking about.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I'm drunk already, and I'm like halfway
attention.
through, and I'm trying to find out who the Kardashians... Oh, my God. Just keep going.
Doesn't
Just
matter.
Keep going.
Certainly doesn't matter. So Jimmy starts to realize that he's got a personality that not only is magnanimous amongst the people that he hangs out with, but it's marketable. And that is a solid move. And
Jesus Christ. Caitlyn Jenner, thank you.
Oh, is that what you were going for?
Yeah, I know another Caitlyn who goes by Catherine, and that was stuck in my mind. So that's funny for another one person.
And it was me. So he figures out that he can market himself. So he starts to write his own advice column from his apartment, and he just sends it out to newspapers. And it's a gambling advice column. And eventually he gets picked up by over 200 newspapers around the country.
Damn.
On his weekly advice column. And this really was the first national point spread in a newspaper. And Jimmy's a goddamn gentleman. He's an innovator. He was approached by hotels to buy his name and create a sports book out of it, which he probably should have done. He didn't do that. Probably the worst move that he made up to this point. Up to this point, at least. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to be all about sports gambling. Which, again, what are you thinking? This is what you're best at. So, in retrospect, probably not the smartest move. He loved nothing more than winning. And he loved the attention that came with it almost as much. Like, obsessed with it. When he would win, like at the horse track, which he was at all the time, he was famous for yelling, "That's me! That's me! That's me!"
That would get so obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
Because one guy there was just losing every single time. He just wanted to murder this guy. That's dangerous. Yelling, "That's me."
That's
winning
me.
Over and over.
That's me.
Oh, that guy. Oh, the "That's me" guy. Let's follow him to his car. He's gonna have a lot of money on him because I heard him talking about it.
You're just kicking him. That's me. That's me.
That's you. That's you. That's you. Just kicking him. Lovely.
Now, he loved yelling, "That's me," but he wasn't always winning. And he was seen by a few of his friends on a few occasions buying tickets on bad days for all the horses in a race so he could win. He needed to win a race, so he would buy.
Jesus Christ!
He would bet on all the horses to win.
I'm sure the odds makers said it so that that's not advantageous, or else everybody would do it, as you could imagine.
I think if you're putting even money on all of them, yeah, it's not going to work out for the most part. So now with his advice column, and really it's a point spread. He has this national notoriety, and it gets bigger when he makes a mistake. And it wasn't a mistake that was egregious in retrospect, but at the time he got torched for it, as he made the Jets and Joe Namath a 17.5-point underdog against the Colts in the game that they ended up winning, Super Bowl III, I believe. However, even though everybody was just torching him the next week, like, oh my god, this idiot, he's got a national column, he said it was 17 points and they lost. And remember, it's not like they're like, oh, everyone knew. This was the only guy doing it. And the fact that Joe Namath guaranteed the win is iconically ballsy because of how big an underdog everyone thought they were. That moment is not that big if they were supposed to stomp in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? No, 100%. But just the problem for Jimmy was he didn't have other columns agreeing with him. It was just like, all right, well, I guess this game's supposed to be 17.5 points. That's what I know now. And then it didn't turn out to be that way. So he gets more famous for that. It brings him to the mainstream. And it also brings gambling to the mainstream after this. You know, obviously not just due to him, but around this time, gambling's really starting to come out. And it was pretty big because at the time, ESPN had compared gambling to whorehouses. Like that, if you go to a gambling hall or a whorehouse, you are the same level moral character.
Degenerate. Yeah.
You are a piece of shit.
A degenerate gambler. Like you can almost not have the one without the other.
That's they go hand in hand pretty often. So this leads Jimmy to his big break, his biggest break, which is the NFL Today on CBS, co-hosted by a very young Brent Musburger.
Whoa!
Former Miss America Phyllis George and former NFL player Irv Cross, alongside Jimmy the Greek. He joined in 19... Actually, you guess. 19 what for Brent Musburger right there?
I'm going to call that 1967.
76. So if
76, wow.
your
9 years
dyslexia
off.
got you. Good guess. Jimmy joked about the hiring process there, quoting his boss saying, yeah, when they were putting this team together, he wanted a motor mouth, a bimbo, a black, and a buffoon. That was what the boss told him.
Well, they nailed it.
they got everything.
Musburger is a buffoon.
And I heard Irv Cross is a motor mouth. So
I heard that too. I heard that too. And the Miss Universe or whatever is heavy on the powder.
Oh, shit. So getting on the NFL Today finally legitimizes what he did and what he's been doing his whole life. That being said, it was entirely tongue-in-cheek. And it stayed that way really until like the last 5 years now. In terms of how gambling was addressed on TV. I remember as a kid, watching NFL Countdown, right? And Chris Berman, Tom Jackson leading us into Sunday Night Football. And he's going, all right, here's my prediction for tonight's game. I think it's going to be San Francisco 27, Pittsburgh 22. And I like, 22?
Yeah.
How the fuck would they score 22 points? And what Berman is doing is what Jimmy invented, which is, how do I tell people I like San Francisco minus 4.5? How do I do that? 27,
make it a
22.
really shitty, make it a 5-point difference where one of the scores never happens.
Yep. And Jimmy would be, he was so good at the tongue-in-cheek aspect of it, he'd stand there and go, I don't really know who's going to win this game. Actually, you know what? I really like Oakland by a touchdown. At least a touchdown. I really like him by a touchdown. So that all stems from Jimmy, everything that we've been seeing. And now, obviously, it turned big, and I think the FanDuel and those things kind of really changed it.
Oh, dude, college game day, they base it off of Las Vegas's numbers, like unapologetically. Just, oh yeah, Vegas likes this. Who's your biggest underdog pick of the week? It's like, well, Vegas likes them by this. I'm going to take them. I think they're going to go.
That's true. They've been doing
whatever. Everyone knows.
So Jimmy starts to break this stigma of gambling. Obviously, only a few television stations. This is the biggest NFL show ever at the time. and he becomes a true celebrity. He's getting endorsement deals. He was considered must-watch for all gamblers on Football Sunday. And at one point in Time Magazine, one of the magazines, rated one of the 10 best-known men in the country.
Damn.
Yep, and he was the ultimate normal guy. Unless,
yeah,
of
look at him.
course,
Look at him. Unless, like, a normal guy if you're a rat.
he was pretty normal, unless, of course, he was being mean. He had that ability as well. One time, he got Phyllis, the bimbo, her boss, he got Phyllis to cry by insulting her husband. And sure, that's not a really big deal, but he did it 10 seconds before they went live, so that was great. I wish they had clips of her crying on the air, but they didn't.
That's really funny.
He was.
I wish. Do you know what he said? Is that documented?
He called him. I believe he called him stupid or insulted his intelligence, but in like a really 1970s way. Like it wasn't like super vulgar. I don't think.
Yeah.
Which
I'll bet he went to trade school. They're like, she starts crying.
he's gonna own a business forever. Oh no.
Yeah, right. He'll never be out of work.
So he was he was super well known for being moody, and that was a problem because he was so goddamn fun when he was in a good mood. So you'd want to hang out with him, and then sometimes it'd be a nightmare. It got pretty bad actually on NFL Today. Phyllis felt like she didn't belong there because he didn't want her there.
I thought because she, it's a sports show.
There, just because she didn't belong there.
Because it's a sports show, but whatever.
He would make fun of the fact that she needed cue cards because it was a sports show.
Right? Go on.
And
how else do I agree with your gentleman?
And he said, she's only here so the viewers can think dirty thoughts.
Yeah, about not hating the black guy. So they pull their attention off of him. Oh, man.
So
hey, we gotta. Joe Biden says we have to accept that. That was our terrible grandparents. We can't. Basically, all mine are dead. There's only one left. I'm sure she's come around since then, but if not, it's literally a matter of maybe 5 years.
Yes, I don't know where she's at, but it's not looking good, I guess.
I guess not.
So Phyllis and her dirty thoughts that she's encouraging from the listeners or the viewers. She fit right into the category for Jimmy that you expected, and you alluded to it when we were talking about the supermarket earlier. She really didn't like that he would refer to women as broads and dames, which I guess in the 70s was kind of out of style. It always feels like just such an old-timey thing, but I guess by the 70s they didn't really love it as much.
Right.
I consider it just about as gentlemanly as you can get.
Yeah,
and
they had moved on to Groovy Chick by then, probably.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It got so bad eventually that Phyllis said, "I'm going to leave the show. This is too much." But they really liked Phyllis and they wanted her to stay, so they worked it out to where Brent and Jimmy would go into the studio early Sunday morning, record Jimmy's bit, and then he would go home, and then the other three would do the live show.
Dude, win. So win-win
for
Jimmy. That's great.
He had a beautiful reaction for that. He also had a great moment. Maybe Brent Musburger wouldn't consider it that way, but a great moment with Brent. He was getting annoyed by the focus on Phyllis during the show. He's like, I got the actual sports talk here. Why are we listening to this bitch talk? This is so stupid. The lack of on-air time I'm getting makes me look foolish. And Brent said, well, if the shoe fits, Jimmy, sure. And Jimmy punched Brent in the face.
Cool.
As he should have, I guess.
Yeah.
And Brent's brother says, come on, Greek, grab a bottle like when you were a gangster. And unfortunately, there was a newspaper writer sitting there. Yeah, I included that terrible line just to get your... there was a...
I would have hit him with the bottle. I just grabbed the bottle like clunk. Good thinking.
Good one, man. Unfortunately for everybody, there was a newspaper writer in the bar with them. And the story went out, and it was a big deal everywhere. Brent apologized for it. And,
That's the only way. That's the only way the newspaper ever prints that story. Ever. As if they're actually in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how long ago it was.
Yeah, it would never be found out.
Never.
Now,
That's the
luckily,
worst luck ever.
How great is it that Brent apologized?
It was great. What a cuck. And
So,
to this day.
Musburger did a good job, though. As did basically the whole crew, as they did attack this with humor on the next installment of the show with this clip.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NFL today, or maybe I should say, as the world turns. And we're going to be right back with Jimmy the Knockout.
Oh, was that Phyllis?
I can assure you that Jimmy the Greek was right on target last Sunday. Now, Jimmy, let's see how you do this Sunday.
Beautiful.
Jimmy didn't appreciate that, though.
No,
you could tell. You could tell he was taking his lickings. He was taking his lickings there. Phyllis, whew, that photo of her was much more flattering than the video turned out to be for her. Just saying, that's the reason why you're there. You don't know sports. We've already acknowledged that. You need cue cards, so, you know.
Jimmy's got some good points.
You know what I'm saying?
She does. DC.
I'm just kidding.
Jimmy's life started with tragedy. He wins a lot, loses a lot, but he actually did have really shitty times as an adult too. This is about as serious as his life got. Was the fact that his family had a horrible genetic trait for cystic fibrosis.
I was gonna say like huge ears and nose.
They had that too, but this was
yeah.
This
they had that too.
Unfortunately, as prevalent. Yeah. He had 5 kids, and early on lost 2 of them to CF. And then later on in his life, while he's on the NFL today, his 27-year-old son, who had been battling it forever, loses his battle. So he lost 3 of 5 kids to this disease. And from Jeremy's death on, he was angry. They said 3.
Well, yeah, the odds were 2 of 5, and he bet on 2 of 5. I'd be pissed too. It was a bad bet. It was a bad beat. The bad beat. He thought the 27-year-old was going to beat it. He thought he was in the clear, but turns out, nope. 3 of 5.
He goes angry for 3 straight years. Just unlivable around. Like, you just couldn't be around him. He's going to work, doing his thing, but whatever. He's not happy.
Yeah, right.
And at this point, we're reaching the almost end of the story because his normal attitude of being high maintenance has now gotten way worse. He's demanding from CBS the best hotel rooms, the best rental cars everywhere he goes, Rolls Royce, everything he can get.
Oh, shit.
He was getting sick. He was getting older. He started losing a lot of his contacts around the league where he would get his information, which means he was losing.
He got Chris Mortensen.
Adam Schefter got hired by NFL Today to come in.
He had 2 phones. The other guy had 2 phones. Oh, shit. Sports jokes, everybody. Hopefully, maybe 5 or 10 people like that reference.
I think our numbers are going up.
I think so.
As a part of his losing the edge in the prep department, not only is he losing contacts around the league, but he also, I guess, and I can't blame him for it, found going to the horse track to be more enjoyable than making 40 phone calls. So, hard to argue.
Yeah.
Hard to
Get
argue.
back to basics. Back to basics.
End of the road is in sight at CBS. They're almost done with him. They're furious. And then he is in Washington, D.C., and there's a local TV station doing a story on Martin Luther King Day. And they're interviewing different people, and they interviewed Jimmy, and let's get a little bit of the setup.
Was asking questions about Martin Luther King's birthday and the progress blacks have made in society. There, CBS sports commentator Jimmy the Greek Snyder gave his impressions of blacks in coaching in the National Football League. His answers could raise as much controversy as the statements by former Dodgers executive Al Campanis last April on ABC's Nightline news program.
Now, we'll get back to Al Campanis in a second. But what did Jimmy say?
Is it equal? What about in sports?
Well, they've got everything. If they take over coaching like everybody wants them to, there's not going to be anything left for the white people. I mean, all the players are black. I mean, the only thing that the whites control is the coaching jobs. Now, I'm not being derogatory about it, but that's all that's left for them. The black talent is beautiful. It's great. It's out there. So the only thing left for the whites is a couple coaching jobs.
Yeah, maybe we need to get more black coaches, don't you?
Oh, it's all right with me.
Okay, well,
I'm sure that they'll take over that pretty soon, too.
See, not racist at all.
Totally agree.
He didn't.
So
he was being straight up like, yeah, the only thing that's left for white people are the coaching jobs. Yeah, that's fine if black people take it over. I'm sure they will.
So
yeah.
Absolutely maddening that this would get him. Oh, that wasn't it. Is that what I'm reading here? Oh, no, that wasn't all. Oh, okay. So did he get into why white athletes are being pushed out of sports? He did? Oh, good.
Uh-oh.
He's bred to be the better athlete because this goes back all the way to the Civil War, when during the slave trading, the slave owner would breed his big black to his big woman, so that he could have a big black kid.
That is also true. I mean, it's wildly horrific. Like it's wildly offensive that people would breed human beings for their benefit, but that is what happened. Like you can't deny. Yeah, it was procedure. Like it sucks, but that's what happened. You know? Whatever. So he didn't say he was sorry about his ancestors' role in it or something, I guess. Like he didn't show enough like remorse for the past that he reflects, I guess, or something. I don't know. That is what happened. It sucks. He didn't say it was awesome.
No, he didn't
he's like, yeah, I miss those days.
Yeah.
Fuck. Whatever.
The next day, he's just getting destroyed. Greek blasts blacks is the headline all across the country. CBS, who's already annoyed by him, obviously easy choice there. They fire him. He begged them. They showed him what the statement was going to be, and he said, "Oh, reprehensible? Don't use that word." They used it. Now, DC, let's rewind a second. Let's get off of my gentleman.
Okay.
What do you mean, this Al Campanis guy? What's that all about?
Is it that there are no black managers, no black general managers, no black owners?
Well, Mr. Koppel, there have been some black managers, but I really can't answer that question directly. The only thing I can say is that you have to pay your dues when you become a manager. Generally, you have to go to minor leagues. There's not very much pay involved. And some of the better-known black players have been able to get into other fields and make a pretty good living in that way.
Now, again, I say, just like with the last clip, is that it? That's what got Al in huge trouble?
I don't think so. I mean, it was... No. I mean, yeah. I can't see that would get him fired in that day.
Yeah, what is this I'm seeing?
It would definitely get him fired now.
Oh, DC, that wasn't all.
Yeah, but you know in your heart of hearts, and we're going to take a break for a commercial, you know that that's a lot of baloney. I mean, there are a lot of black players, there are a lot of great black baseball men who would dearly love to be in managerial positions. And I guess what I'm really asking you is to, peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
You really believe that?
Well, I don't say that they're all of them, but they certainly are short. How many quarterbacks do you have? How many pitchers do you have that are black?
Yeah, but I mean, I got to tell you, that sounds like the same kind of garbage we were hearing 40 years ago about players when they were saying, not really cut out. You remember the days, they hit a black football player in the knees, and that really sounds like garbage if you forget to say so.
It's not garbage, Mr. Koppel, because I played on a college team, and the center fielder was black,
miserable,
and the backfield at NYU with the fullback who was black. never knew the difference of whether he was black or white. We were teammates. So
Yeah.
it
Okay,
just
that's
might
that's
be
good.
that
Don't use it as an excuse.
Why are black men or black people not good swimmers? Because they don't have the buoyancy.
Oh, it may just be that they don't have access to all the country clubs and the pool.
Well, I mean, it's not access either. It's a cultural thing. They just don't. They don't or haven't, at least historically, needed to teach their kids swimming for whatever reason. Oh my God, they had access to pools. It just is a freaking anyway. It's a cultural thing.
It's not a buoyancy issue either.
No, why don't white people? Never mind.
Why did he go there? What is he
why don't white people as a majority dance? Because we're not good dancers. We don't practice. Like, we could probably go and like learn how to dance at a very young age or something. Like, we could just have it passed down in the rhythm and shit and practice it all the time, I guess. Maybe it is natural. I have no idea. But maybe the bone density, because of all the freaking crazy breeding that was going on, they're just too not buoyant enough, as this gentleman said. I don't think so, though. I don't think that's right. I think it's a cultural preference and all that.
What's he like? He's like, all right, this managerial conversation's not going well. Well, they can't swim. Let's talk about. It's like, no, that's the wrong choose your own adventure choice. Don't go to that page.
There you go. Mike B in the chat. The blacks and Asians have denser bones. I've seen a lot of Asian drowning videos. Let's move on.
So, back to the gentleman at hand, DC.
Yes,
many
please.
considered this to be something that he would do all the time, which was talking out of his ass. He was not the most well-read guy. He dropped out of school. And he would get into conversations, hated being wrong, hated not being heard, and he would just talk. And a lot of people said that, like you said,
I feel attacked.
There was some history. What's happening?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I thought chat was
No.
But yeah, the stuff that he said, well, it might have had a root in truth.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't come out well because he didn't really know what he was talking about. So, Irv Cross defended him, said Jimmy's definitely not a racist. But he probably shouldn't have said that.
Right.
Jimmy heartbroken after this. That was his last job, and then we reached the sad actual end. He started having stress-related heart problems. He was branded a racist, which was early for that to happen, but it happened.
Yeah, that was before its time. Branding people racist.
That was a deep cut on that one.
Imagine how racist you really had to come off to be branded a racist in like
right.
the 70s and 80s. You really had to be like, oh shit, God, you can't
Apparently
say that anymore.
Apparently, DC was that racist. He hung out around racetracks. When people would ask him how he's doing, he would say dead. He had no income. His job was gone. The ads were gone. He had spent the rest of the money that he had, and eventually was seen around Vegas. Long gray hair, was dirty, asking friends for money, completely broke.
Cool.
And essentially was a hermit by the end, unless he wasn't walking around a casino.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Jimmy passed away. A very small funeral in Ohio, not based on invites, but based on attendance.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was
That
it was
sucks.
a rough end, and in my opinion, based on what I learned about Jimmy, he deserved better because Jimmy the Greek got goddamn shit.
That's right. Did Phyllis come?
Many times. Oh, the funeral.
Oh, yeah, the funeral.
Oh, the funeral.
Did she come at the funeral?
Unclear.
Unclear. Thumbs up. Thumbs up from the cartoon KC. Confirmed. She did. Excellent. Casey, who did not make the mark? Dude, that was an hour. Jimmy the Greek was a goddamn gentleman. That's fantastic.
Everybody recommend
I'll
this
take
over the
I'll take
ESPN
50% of the
doc.
blame for the tangents.
No, that's okay. I'm totally fine with it. All right, so DC. Number one.
Yeah.
This was a big story in sports this week. I have a theme. Obviously, it's sports this week. The White Sox were playing a game, and they had a huge lead, and one of their rookie batters was up, and counts 3-0 late in the game.
Oh, okay. Here's so I'll give you my what I heard is there was a tweet about this that caused some controversy because he didn't do what you should do in a 3-0.
That's correct. He swung away.
Swing away, Merrill.
Belted a fucking home run off of the pitcher. And Tony La Russa, you remember Tony La Russa?
I thought he was dead too.
Still managing, and luckily
Good God.
In this clip, he's presumably sober and definitely not behind the wheel. So it's going to go better than some things. So let's find out what Tony thought about the swing.
Okay.
With that kind of lead, it's not order. That's just sportsmanship, respect for the game, respect for your opponent. You made a mistake. So, there'll be a consequence that he has to endure here within our family. But it won't happen again because Joe will be on the lookout and I will be too, and we'll go running in front of the pitcher. We have to. Now, he's not going to do that again. I heard he said something like, I played my game, but no, he doesn't. He plays the game of Major League Baseball. Respects the game, respects the opponents.
Yeah, that's right.
Thumbs down, Casey.
Great thumb, by the way. I love it. Casey.
Yeah.
It's, first of all, I was shocked that he would say this about a player on his own team. This sounds like the manager of the other team. They're like, what a douchebag. Oh, my God.
This is
belted a homer. Dude, Rick Majerus, another gentleman who's sitting way too low. I think he should be in the top 3 at least. He should unseat Brigham Young as the number 3. That's my campaign. Rick Majerus to transplant Brigham Young. I can't think of a more poetic move than that. But he used to fucking grill players if they dunk in a game. Like if they got a breakaway and you didn't lay it up. Like Keith Van Horn one time dunked the shit out of this ball on a breakaway, and Majerus sat his ass for the rest of the fucking half. It was just like, yeah, you don't fucking you don't do that. Get the fuck on the bench.
The old school stuff is so shitty. It's so boring. It's I hate it.
And it produces Keith Van Horns and Andre Millers. You shut the fuck up, chat. Keith Van Horn can dunk and more. Keith Van Horn is goddamn gentle. I'll bring him in next week. Him and his eyes that are trying to escape each other.
All
Anyway.
right, so Tony, let's see if he keeps being an asshole in his closing thoughts.
There's a sportsmanship, respect for the game, respect for your opponent. It's real. It has to be the philosophy, and we follow it. I've been taught it. And, the fact that he's a rookie who's excited helps explain why he just was clueless. But now he's got a clue.
Now he's got a clue. Boo again. You're a douchebag.
Shut up, Tony La Russa. So anyway, the gentleman didn't bother to learn his name, but he's the guy that hit that ball.
Yes.
He's an honorary gentleman. Now, DC, let's stay in baseball. Everybody saw this clip this week, but let's watch it together because it belongs right here.
Okay.
Padres, Rockies. Rocky fan talking some shit. Padre fan has simply had enough. Silent video here, DC, as a clean.
Whoa!
A clean right.
There we go.
Now, don't
there
worry.
we go.
We'll get now. It's all done from there, but we'll get the side angle here. Let's get a nice side angle on that one. And then just in case you're looking for the slow motion, DC,
I am.
We bring that
That was clean.
From
that was
both
clean.
angles. We'll give it
I gotta say I appreciate the Colorado brotherhood jumping the shit out of that guy after they knocked out their boy.
And
like
DC,
at least 3 people who did not know that guy assaulted that guy illegally in his honor, which is the stupidest thing you could do.
The big twist here: the honorary gentleman, the man who got punched, who did not press charges. The Padre fan was not arrested.
Good. Yep. It's all in fair. It's all is fair in love and war, and this is a little bit of both. I think.
There's your assault going on in slow mo now. That's nice.
I love it.
So that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Now, DC, my next honorary, some people are going to see this and go, Casey, what the fuck are you doing? This video is 14 years old. Mm-hmm. I understand that, but I'd never seen it before. And it's fucking amazing. And DC, I'm hoping you haven't, but you've seen every video on the internet.
I've seen everything. If it's 14 years old, yeah.
You've seen it. But this is so great. I was new to this week, so here you go. Here's the setup.
Okay.
The structure that I really want to show you is right over here.
You ever seen this?
This is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And the person that's built it is right around the corner.
The microphone wire. No.
It's Brian Barney. Brian, careful that cord.
Careful that cord.
Oh, so careful with that cord, he says, DC. There's some cool things happening with this amazing structure. Let's hear about them.
Brian is a 1990 graduate of Northern. And
he's the worst
he's
interviewer
going to
ever.
tell
Watch
us a little bit about this amazing structure.
Well, it's, as you can see, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's about 12,000 blocks. It took over 2 weekends to build. And I'm really excited because next week, the Guinness Book of World Records team will come to evaluate it. I'm really looking forward to that.
They should have come sooner. They should have come sooner because, the host is getting a phone call.
Oh, no. Stop, dude.
Jeez, Brian. I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say.
I guess we'll go back to Dale.
I guess Dale is going to handle this, not me. Back to Dale.
Back to Dale. DC, do you know who Ricky Schroeder is?
It sounds familiar. Refresh my memory.
Familiar to me too, but I have no fucking idea. Apparently, he was some child star, and I found out that he's still a massive baby. This is long, and we're gonna play DC. Listen till you tap. Here's a conversation that sucks from start to finish.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Jason.
And what do you do here?
I'm a supervisor, front-end supervisor.
And why aren't you letting me in?
Because in the state of California and the county of Los Angeles, there has been and Costco, there's been no change to our mask policy. Not in the state of California or in the county of Los Angeles.
Didn't you see the news? You didn't see the news. Nationwide Costco has said you don't need to wear a mask.
Actually, that's not accurate.
What is accurate?
So what is accurate is that Costco always goes above and beyond when following the law. And the mandate in California
pause it. Just pause it. If there is not a truer statement than California goes above and beyond the law, I haven't heard it. That was. Oh, did he say Costco goes above and beyond?
Costco,
okay, sorry. I heard California. Either way, I think it's true. And shame on this fucking Rick Schmitz, for living in California in the first fucking place. What the fuck did you think was going to happen when you went to Costco in LA County, you fucking idiot? Of course they're going to... masks, please. Oh my God. This guy is shitting his pants every day that he has to go to work and considers himself a hero because he's a front-end supervisor at Costco having to put up with the riffraff who don't want to wear their mask. And I'm self-important because I just got a bonus. I got a raise to $15 an hour because they had to. Because I'm so worthless as an employee that, anyway.
DC got up to like 68 miles an hour, and he was like, I'm just going to get off.
Nah, I just don't care. I don't care about Jason. Jason will work his way up to other department managers at Costco. He'll
get inside at some point, I swear to God.
Jesus Christ. But he'll get a very good offer from BJ's that he will consider. But we'll probably turn it down because the bus route that he takes to Costco is much better than the one that goes to BJ's. So
what I learned about this video, DC, is that this interaction, there's not too much of it left. It's one of those videos where you go, all right, this could escalate into something interesting, and then it ends.
does seem to be the possibility that in June, by mid-June, that's a date that California, I know,
If they allow us, if they grant us that, our kings, the people in power, you're going to listen to these people?
Well, I know
they've destroyed our economy.
Well,
they're
sir,
destroying our culture.
Oh,
they're destroying our state.
Get out, Jason. Now I'm on your side. Get out.
What we are going to do is simply follow the guidelines.
Okay. I'm getting my refund.
Do you know him? Can you recognize him as a child actor? Chat, what's
Hold
he
on.
from?
Hold on. I'm going to turn back the clock. He's got to be in something in the fucking 90s. Was
Ricky
he fat, though?
Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder. Was he fat as a child star?
I don't know.
Did he have the glasses? I don't know, man. I don't know what he's from.
We'll have to see if chat can come through. It looks like Mike B. Googled. What we got?
Oh, definitely. Mike B's quick on the Google. 80s. He's 80s. Was he in Growing Pains? Was he like a little brother in Growing Pains or something? Silver Spoons. Fuck, he's not famous at all. God damn it. Silver Spoons isn't even... Oh, Christ.
Right.
Okay.
Let's move on with this non-actor that's famous.
Costco. I suggest everybody in California get their refund from Costco. Give up your membership.
They're $25
until they remove this.
I recommend everybody in California get your $25 back.
I'm aware of the places I shop still require masks, but that's not the point. The point is Costco is simply abiding by the law, and
No, you're
that's
not.
the law.
There's my refund.
No, you're not.
You're the manager? I'm the manager. Okay, I'm suggesting everybody in California get a refund from Costco until this rule is lifted. Thank you. Thank you.
See? And that's the difference. That's the difference between a manager and a front-end supervisor. The manager just came up, did not have time for that shit at all because he was the 13th person who did that day. The fact that he thinks he's famous has nothing to do with anything. And she just hands him a piece of paper, looks him straight in his face while he says some nonsense and turns around and walks away. And that's the difference. And that's the difference between getting a salary and getting $15 an hour right there.
And being Jason.
Costco actually just is following the laws of California and Hollywood. Jesus Christ.
I have one more, DC, and we're going to keep it going with some more mask talk.
Okay.
As found
everyone's favorite, mask talk.
Found some man-on-the-street interviews with people still wearing their mask outdoors. Hey, why are you still wearing your mask outside? The CDC said we don't have to do that, especially outside.
Yeah, and, which is a passive-aggressive way of saying, why are you mentally retarded?
it's a very passive way of doing it. Now, we're going to play a couple of these people's answers. Two of them kind of, just middle of the road, exactly what you'd expect to find in a man-on-the-street interview. And then the third guy's got a real answer.
And until we know that the city is safe, I think if you're outside, it's generally okay, but, we should remain vigilant in the meantime.
And we don't know who has it or doesn't have the vaccine or not. I'm hot.
I think there should be some way where you can see if others have been vaccinated or not. Then
like a patch.
You can easily spot that someone else has been vaccinated. You can remove your mask.
A vaccine, like a big V. Like if you put a big V patch on all of their, or no, better yet, they give you a vaccination confirmation number, right? Like maybe you could tattoo that onto your, maybe you could tattoo the number of your vaccine onto your wrist. Maybe you could do that.
That could do it. I actually had an idea as well. So I was thinking back to elementary school, right? And I remember you get a check or a check plus if you did a really good job. I remember the assignments that you really crushed it, you'd always get a gold star.
Have you noticed the people most afraid of COVID still, people who wear their masks outside are vaccinated already? They're the ones that were first in line to get the fucking vaccine. They're guys, we have to stay vigilant. Whatever the fuck that means. Just wash your hands and don't cough in people's face. And if someone coughs in your face, drink orange juice. Drink orange juice as fast as you can. Yeah, and then thank them once you're fucking immune to that shit because now you caught it. It's like the chicken pox. Fucking pussies.
that video, there was one woman who was wearing her mask outside. And they go, "Are you vaccinated?" She goes, "Yep." They're like, "How come you're still wearing your mask?" And she's like, "Well, we don't really know if the vaccine works that well, right? We should probably wait a while and see how that goes." Like,
they're already talking about a booster shot, the third one you need. It's only a matter of time before they need a solution for their third quarter profits. And then they'll come out with a fourth booster because safety.
Because absolutely safety.
because not Donald Trump, guys. Oh man, that's fantastic.
I did enjoy the Biden tweet about like, when we took office, we were only getting this many jobs per month. It's like
false.
Nobody
False.
can go
When you
anywhere.
took office was slightly after the coronavirus started. That's when you took office. That's when America was officially Democrat, was about March 2020. There was no chance. The entire country was fucking on welfare. It was a fucking Democratic utopia. That whole year, everybody fucking just staying online and posting TikToks and having no friends and not going out to the bar to drink, just being alone and sad with wine in your house. It was a Democratic utopia.
You described it perfectly.
Thank
DC, I lay out my case. Jimmy the Greek is a gentleman, and 5 honoraries. I have one other honorary, but I have too much stuff. It is evergreen, I'm going to say.
Okay, all right. Let's get into mine. I'm glad actually that you went so long because I chose such a kind of a nothing to say about the guy. No one's really ever heard of him. We'll get to him later. My honoraries, I've got 4, and they're all videos, and they're all from my new favorite. Well, one of them is YouTube. The last one's YouTube, but the first 3 are from my new favorite website, the ones that took over for LiveLeak, because LiveLeak are a bunch of cucks now, and they bowed down to the Biden administration. So Leak Reality is the new one, and they make it even easier. Yes, it's Pornhub for degenerates or curious people. They made it even easier for anyone just to right-click download every single video. So now everybody who's there can just download every single one of them, and if that one gets shut down, anybody can just start their own website because everybody has it. So everybody do that. Everybody go to Leak Reality and download these videos. First video, KC, is I would have to assume somewhere in Africa or maybe England. It's a blindfold race. Go ahead and click play. It's everything you want in a highlight of sports.
Very exciting.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh shit! That is right. That's great. Oh, I fucking love this video. Casey, in my haste, I have no idea what the second video is, but I have an idea. Go ahead and play.
Hold on. Before you move on,
yes,
the balls that it takes to do that. Last week I was at work. You know where I work. I work in a large building. And we have long hallway, like really long hallways that are really wide. And I was walking down this really wide, really long, really empty hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I could literally walk for like a minute and a half with my eyes closed and not walk into anything. I tried it. I made like 4 steps. I was like, I am going to bump into a wall. I'm
4 steps?
All right, 12 maybe. But I'm going to bump into a wall.
Good. I was going to say 4 steps. I'm ending this podcast right now. My gentleman is you. You suck. Vote him down.
These guys, you did that already. These guys are full sprinting
blind in an open field with multiple people. It's great.
It's crazy.
It's fantastic. All right, Casey, the next honorary, I can't remember which one he is. It might be the guy who found a missile in his backyard.
Oh, great.
I think that's the one. Go ahead and play it. Yeah.
Go. A missile?
Yeah.
Look, I want to get you up.
3. Oops. I can only imagine it was somewhere near Eastern Europe.
Do we know what happened to those boys?
Yeah, they got virgins. I don't know how many of them, but you could imagine.
Dozens.
Casey, Casey, next video was also from Leak Reality, and I can't remember which one this one is either. I know what the fourth one is, but this next one I can't remember. Oh, yes, I do. A fat child got out of control on a bike going down the hill. So this video, I want you to focus on the top right of the screen. He comes down the road, and I think he hits a little bit of a bump because he loses control and does not make the turn that he meant to make. But the sound this kid makes after he composes himself a little bit, the sound he makes is just fantastic.
Oh.
Oh, we lost. Casey, I know you appreciated all that sound. The Discord lost the second half of that. But he goes on.
Guess what? Watch it again. Watch it on
YouTube next time, guys.
Watch it on YouTube, yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, it's he goes on forever, just wailing.
He was the child of the woman that fell out of the grape stomping thing. That's who he was, in case the audio cut out for
ow, 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 ow. Yeah, that was him. This last video, Casey, is one that I know you will love because it's our favorite thing in the world. Music fails. Please play the last video. Actually, you know what, Casey? I'm sorry. I apologize for doing that to you. It's a music fail on the part of who you wouldn't think.
Ooh, a surprise music fail. How exciting.
Yes, it's a true gentleman that I think you and I will absolutely just worship for the rest of time.
Right,
Next clip.
Let's do this.
He is blowing a trumpet at him while they're trying to That guy's awesome.
Oh, that's a great troll. That's a beautiful job.
That's fantastic. Again, watch the video in its full glory. The audio is in its full glory. Casey, without further ado, like I said, this guy's a schmuck, a nobody, someone no one's ever heard of, and someone I can probably go through real quick. So I'm glad you went long today.
Mm-hmm.
My gentleman is none other than, if you'll play the image, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. No one's ever heard of this guy, right?
No one knows who this guy is at all.
No one could ever put together like 3 pages worth of notes. We planned this one out real well.
This is gonna be a fun one.
You and I. Okay. Jeffrey Lionel Dahlmer was born May 21st, 1960, to Lionel and Joyce Dahmer in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Totally normal family upbringing, right? I mean, his parents kind of worked a whole lot, but no more than any normal family. So they moved to Ohio when he's 6 years old, and his little brother is born in Ohio in 1966. At the age of 8, he becomes fascinated with dead animals. And not just like, oh shit, that animal's dead, like I'm going to poke it with a stick. Like, he wanted to tear apart the animals and figure out how they ticked and what made them the way they are. Totally normal. Who didn't do that? I know.
At 8 years old, I think I started at 7.
Yeah.
It's around
a little late to the party, if I do say so myself.
Sure.
But his dad saw this, and his dad was a science man, I guess you could say. I don't know if he was like in engineering. I think he was an engineer. But he was excited. He had a business card.
Ronald
account
Dahmer,
manager.
science man.
Yeah, Lionel Dahmer, science. His dad taught him how to bleach bones because he was like, oh yeah, you'll need, following the whole, like, teach a man.
My son's an archaeologist.
Give a man a bleached bone. He's kind of weird, but teach your kid to bleach bones. And we'll see what comes of that. So puberty leads to this fascination of dead animals to graduate, if you will, into an arousal from dead animals. He imagines himself in different sexual positions with dead animals, if you can imagine this. It's who can't, obviously.
Yeah. I never tried to before, but I can now. Yeah.
Right, you can now. At the age of 14, he starts heavily drinking. So like John Daly, this is going to be a theme for the next, or for at least the last 2 weeks. He was drinking before, during, and after school. Said he brought like a pint of liquor to school every single day, and he called it his medicine, which he would to drink away the gay.
I remember having a hard time getting liquor as a freshman in college. How the fuck was he bringing a pint every day? God damn.
I don't know. I didn't.
How did he pull that off?
My first drink was after 21, so I'm a total loser. I'm totally out of this conversation. But he did, as you can imagine, he did in high school really well in a couple subjects. Biology being one of them. He dissected the fetal pig, as you do in biology class. But he, unlike most people, all of them, took the bones home and then bleached them and made a display out of the fetal pig. So that was weird.
Just going above and beyond, trying to get that gold star, DC.
He said he branched out from the fetal pig thing to cats, dogs. I imagine he caught like neighborhood cats or feral cats and dogs and fucked with them. But he said, quote, "I guess it could have turned into a normal hobby like taxidermy, but it didn't." Taxidermy is not a normal hobby, dude.
No,
so, I mean, I guess a little more normal than how it turned out, but come on, man, it's not a normal hobby. He started having thoughts of violence mixed with sex, and in 1978, when Jeffrey was just out of high school, he was left home alone. His parents were having a whole lot of marital issues and fighting all the time. So his mom moved out and took his brother with her. And then his dad was always gone doing his own thing. So he was like, "All right, son, don't burn the house down." Boy, did he wish he burned the house down instead of what he did. He was driving back from the bar, presumably, or the liquor store, actually. And there was a shirtless 18-year-old hitchhiking home after a concert. He picks him up. And he's like, jackpot, right? He's like, I'm home alone. I'm feeling the gay vibes in high school a lot. That's why he was drinking, drink away the gay. And I'm a psychopath who thinks about violence and sex all the time. You're some random shirtless boy. Well, I guess they were the same age. But anyway, he takes him back to his house with promises of drinks. And then, then you can continue on your way to Cleveland or wherever you're from, right?
Steubenville.
They start Steubenville. He's got a bet to put in. They start drinking, and Jeffrey puts the moves on Steven, but Steven's not gay, so he's like, "Okay, dude, like this, I've had enough. This is enough for me." And he turns and leaves to walk out. Jeffrey doesn't like that. He picks up a 10-pound dumbbell, cracks Steven over the head so hard that it caves his head in, and he dies instantly. Just one shot wonder, right? And Jeffrey Dahmer has had all these crazy thoughts about all the things he's going to do. His number one ambition in life is to have a sex slave, just like a zombified, like brainless but alive and reactive zombie sex slave to do with what he wants, right?
Sure.
But now he's killed this kid, and the kid's laying on the ground. He has thoughts about fucking the dead body, but instead he's a gentleman. And Casey, a gentleman would never just fuck a dead body on his first kill. That's presumptuous and rude. So he laid down next to it and jerked off instead. Totally way normal. It's way more normal, right? Didn't fuck the dead kid.
They're both on one. It's
Right.
more normal, but they're both really stuck on one end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's
it's slightly closer to center, but boy, are they far.
Yeah. And after Jeffrey got caught, right, he told the cops and the interviewers and everything, he was very candid about a lot of this stuff, that the cleanup aspect of the kill was not a chore for him. Like a lot of serial killers, like, oh, then I had to pack it up and it was a pain in the ass and I was so nervous the whole time. He loved it. He dragged the body to the bathtub and dissected it in the bathtub. The bones that the acid wouldn't dissolve, because he took the flesh and the meat off the bones that the acid wouldn't dissolve, he smashed with a sledgehammer and sprinkled the pieces throughout the yard to get rid of it. First kill, and he already had a game plan that was pretty good.
Jeffrey, what are you planting, Stevens?
Steven Geraniums. His last name was Geranium, I think. That's what I'm going to call him. Jeffrey was completely off the radar because this was 1978. There were no cell phones. His parents knew probably that Steven went to wherever, Akron, for this concert and was never heard from again. There were no leads, no witnesses that showed him going to Jeffrey Dahmer's house. Perfect murder. Got away with it, but it was a little bit reckless, right? I mean, he killed him on an impulse as he was leaving to walk away, and Jeffrey thought, I got to be more careful about this whole thing. I can't just, be killing willy-nilly. And he goes on like a 9-year hiatus from killing. In the meantime, because he's now freshly out of high school, his dad is like done with his layabout ways and tells him, you're going to get a job or you're going to school. So his dad enrolls him in Ohio State. You're welcome, Michigan. One of the more famous alumni, except that he didn't graduate. His dad paid in advance 1 year, and he just basically stayed in his dorm and got fucking drunk. So flunks out and decides he's going to join the army, because now this is another out, and he's just going to butt fuck the soldiers in the army. So, sorry, Navy. You missed out on him.
Upset Michigan, right there. That was a big upset.
Michigan was happy he didn't come there, and Navy missed out. He gets stationed in Germany after being in Alabama and then Texas, I think. And he behaves himself. He's not drinking. He's not getting drunk all the time. He doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't get reported, at least, for any sexual assault. But then he gets assigned to he gets stationed in Germany, and he just goes fucking crazy. He's drinking all the time again, and he gets assigned to this kid, Preston Davis. All right. And then after Dahmer gets put away for murder, years and years later, this fucking
what happened?
Yeah, this fucking Preston Davis comes out as this Me Too motherfucker. Is like, well, he raped me 8 or 9 times when I was in the army with him. I go, well, where were you then? You fuck. I'm just kidding. It wasn't 8 or 9 times. The next guy, this guy named something Capshaw, he was 17 years old. And after this Davis guy or whatever leaves, he's assigned to him. After a few months, he jumps out a 3rd-story window to try to get away from all the sexual abuse that's going on. But he lives, and later says in an interview that he was raped probably, quote, 8 or 9 times. And I just, like, the whole time thinking about that, I wanted, like, some dick journalist, right, to be like, and in those, how many pumps would you say each one of those times was? Would you say, like, 20 pumps? 100 pumps? Good God, that's almost 900 pumps. That's almost 1,000 pumps in your asshole. That would be great if they asked that. He did not. He did not get asked that. No. But he did say, sometimes he'd beat me before raping me, sometimes after. Talk about a Sophie's Choice, right? What the fuck would be worse? getting beat and then raped or getting raped and then beat. I would have to think raping is more of a dessert assault. You know, like you want to get like the punches. You want to get the punches out of the way because you might accidentally get turned on by a raping. You know what I mean? It's been known to happen. I've read the books.
Sure. I believe you have, and I have no doubt you've watched the videos.
So in 1981, he gets honorably discharged, which is hilarious. And he can choose, like, I guess as part of his, like, VA or whatever. Like,
you never hear about honorable discharge until Jeffrey Dahmer. What are the odds? Everyone you've ever heard of was dishonorably discharged until Jeffrey fucking Dahmer.
Including Patton. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so he gets to choose any city he wants to go to after he's in the army, right? So part of his VA benefits, he gets to move any city. He chooses Miami, of course, right? Get the fuck out of Ohio and Wisconsin and all these shitty fucking Midwest places. He goes down to Miami, and he basically gets a job at a shittier Subway. It's called, like, Sunshine Subs or something like that. Like, the most fucking hippie place you can find. He had an apartment down near the beach. But he moves home because he's still drunk all the time, and he gets fired from his job for being drunk all the time. He can't pay rent. So moves home, still drunk all the time. His dad's fucking pissed. He tells his dad, like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I know I wasted your money saying I was going to get jobs, but I really didn't. I'll turn around. I'll turn my behavior around." Then he gets arrested for having his dick out at a carnival in front of women and children. And he gets a $50 fine. That's it. And then he's just on his merry way because they did not take that seriously back then.
That was a carnival. Come on. It's a fun atmosphere. He's having a good time.
So now that he's kicked out of the carnivals, he's got to find new places to get kicked out of. So he gets blacklisted from all the bathhouses, which I was at first I put gay bathhouses, but I thought that was a little bit redundant. So I just put bathhouses. He got kicked out of there. He wasn't allowed in there anymore. One time he got super drunk and was walking home from the bar one night and saw a mannequin in a shop window that he thought was like super hot. So he broke the window, took the mannequin home to his grandma's house, and who knows what he did with it, but I think he probably drilled like fuck holes in the mouth and the butt because his grandma saw it and was like, "Get that out of here!" Like made him throw it away. So it couldn't have been just like normal mannequin. He's like, "Oh, I want to be a fashion designer or something like that."
Well, it was naked.
I mean? Like he could have
at a minimum. So yeah.
He had the mannequins. He had the mannequins like Ken doll not penis like in his mouth. It was like super like.
Also, it was a child mannequin. It's also a problem.
A problem for everyone but him. So he gets rid of this mannequin and decides like, okay, well, I got to move on to the next logical step. You know, like serial killers, they're murdering insects and pulling their wings and their legs off, and then they'll move up to hamsters and dogs and cats and shit like that. So mannequin, you know, the next logical step would be unearthing recently dead people, which he tried to do. He would read the obituaries and then go new dead burial hunting. But gave it up real fast after he learned that unearthing a body was way harder than it looked on TV. So he dug for maybe like an hour or two, I hope, and got just embarrassingly not far and just left it. And I hope the next person the next day like just saw like a shovel and an attempt at digging somebody out, and they thought that they like just filled the hole shitty. And they like dug the whole thing up to see what had happened, and nothing had actually happened.
I like to think that the funeral caretaker's been there for like 50 years, and this is a thing they know about. Like, oh my god, this guy made it almost 2.5 hours into trying to get it.
Yeah, they got a record board. They got like he made it down 2.5 feet. This is fantastic.
Wow, this guy might have gotten 12 shovelfuls. He realized right. This guy realized quick. He did a good job. He got out of
The
here
world,
fast.
the world record was getting down to the casket and getting it half open and getting an arm. That was the record for our lawn. We've heard stories from other lawns where they've gotten them all the way out, but never in one night without help of machinery. Oh fuck. So he decides, okay, I'm not going to dig up the dead bodies. I'm going to make one myself. I've done it before. It's been 9 years. But I'm smarter now. I've gone through the army. I've figured out ways to do shit, I guess. And in 1987, he goes to Club 219 after moving home back to Ohio or Wisconsin, wherever the fuck he's at. I don't know. Roofie gone wrong or right, Casey. You wake up next to the guy that you brought home to kill, and he's dead next to you with smashed ribs. Is that a roofie gone wrong or right?
Sounds like it went well for him.
It did go well for him. Casey, the second game I want to play with you is which two body parts did Jeffrey keep from this gentleman?
What did he keep? Nose.
I'll give it to you. The head. The nose is attached to the head. So, yes, he kept the head. And what else?
I mean, the initial pick has to be Dick.
Ding, ding, ding. The dick and balls.
Yeah, the dick and
balls.
balls.
The dick and balls and his head. The dick and balls, he cut them off in one piece. So that's one piece. The dick and balls and the head. He put the dick and balls and the head into a box. At least the dick and balls he put into a box that he would hide under his bed.
They'd all been there before.
Yeah. So his dad is very, very upset with him and his, drunken ways and not having a jobness. And he came over to Grandma's house and searched Jeffrey's room and found the box and demanded that he open the box. Jeffrey somehow talked him out of not opening the box, bought himself some time, took the dick and balls out of the box and replaced it with pornography, which he let his dad find the next morning. And I'm thinking, as a dad, if I find a box, I tell my son, open this box, and he says no. And whatever happens that I don't get to see the box, okay, whatever. I'm probably pissed. I'm very suspicious. If he comes to me the next day and is like, okay, Dad, you can open the box. Whatever is in that box, I know is not what was in there the day before. I already know that. So this guy's dad is a fucking idiot. Lets him off the hook completely, and leaves him to kill more. Now that he's living in his grandma's house in the basement, right? The smashed chest guy, before he got his head and dick and balls taken off, Jeffrey did get the courage to actually fuck the dead body, which he did exactly one floor below his sleeping grandma. So that
well, it's more courteous than doing it on the same floor.
It is. In January of 1988, so just 1 year later, he picks up a male prostitute. So you guys can decide, did he deserve it or not? The prostitute, I mean. And the answer is yes. He did deserve it. He was 14 years old. Don't let that discourage you from the realization that he did deserve to be murdered for being a male prostitute. That's inexcusable. But he goes back to Club 219. Strangle, sex, dismember, smash bones. That's his MO.
He's got his pattern down.
He's got his pattern down, and he's got his pickup line, which is apparently, hey, you want to come back to my place? We'll have some drinks, and I'll pay you for a naked photo shoot. That works at a gay club like a charm, because he never changed his strategy, and it worked nearly every time. 2 months later, Club 219.
Nice dick, says Mike B.
Nice dick, buddy. Can I take a picture of it? And maybe give you some drinks that I may or may not have hidden knockout drugs in. So he does this again 2 months later. Same shit. Strangle, sex, dismember, smash bones. And then sprinkle the bones into the toilet and flush it. The rest dissolve in acid. He's got it down. October of 1988, he drugs a guy, a big guy. drugs him, and is interrupted mid-strangle by his grandma, saying, "What's all that noise? You know you're not supposed to have anybody over here. What's going on?" And he panics, drives this guy to the hospital, just drops him off, and is like, okay, it's probably going to all work out just fine. He probably won't remember anything. But the guy remembers enough to go to the police and make a report of it. But he couldn't remember where Jeffrey's apartment is. They were blackout drunk beforehand. All he can give is just a very vague description of Jeffrey, I'm sure. The police laugh it off. They're like, all right, on your way, buddy. And nothing ever comes of it. He gets away with it. Grandma gets sick and tired of all the shitty smells coming from the basement, as you can imagine. Yes. So she kicks him out. And he has to find a new place of his own. He finds an apartment, and the second night in his new place, he brings somebody back again. This time, it's a 13-year-old kid from the neighborhood.
Oh, Jesus.
The fucking balls on this guy, dude. And in his fridge. He's
into the box.
Yeah. So this 13-year-old kid, he drugs, and again, the kid. What happened to this kid? The kid escaped after he had drugged him and had to leave. Like, he drugged him, raped him, and then left. And then the kid alerted the police, ran, found the police, took him back to the apartment, and he actually got convicted. He got he got charged rather with sexual misconduct and all this stuff, and he's facing jail time. He's out on bail or awaiting hearing or whatever the case may be, but he knows he's facing like a year of jail time, right? Because he eventually in the hearing confesses to felony sexual assault or something like that, but he only has to do a year and then 5 years of probation and has to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. But before going to jail, he's like, oh shit, a year is a really long time. I should probably try to kill somebody before I go to jail.
Sure, you got to get shit done before you get in.
So he kills a guy. Oh, and by the way, sometime between living at his grandma's house and getting his new place, he gets a job at a chocolate factory, like a very, very prominent, like sells chocolate around the world chocolate factory. So people in the 80s have probably eaten his fucking chocolate.
Oompa, loompa, doopity, drug, rape, dismember.
Rinse, repeat. Lay down next to them and jerk off on their face. So he kills this guy. The bleached skull from the first kill is now like becoming like flaky, you know? So he's like, I gotta make a new skull and have a different strategy so it doesn't flake on me. And he tries all this like mummification on the new dick and balls and puts that in a box that he hides in his fucking locker at the chocolate factory. And while he's in jail for the year, he gets work release so he can go and like he visits his fucking dick and balls and head in this work locker the whole time he's in jail. So he's not rehabilitated at all.
He's found a good workaround here.
Yeah, he gets a 12-hour release. He gets a 12-hour leave, right, for Thanksgiving so that he can go home and spend time with his family. He decides, no, I'm going to go to the bar instead, and I'm going to try to rape and kill a guy because, 12 hours. This is great.
It's a playground.
It's been a long time. All I've been doing is raping and getting raped, but no murder. This jail is terrible. So he doesn't actually get raped in jail. That was a joke. He goes this whole time in jail, not getting raped. Gets out for 12 hours, decides to go find a guy to rape and murder, drinks the wrong fucking drink or something, but gets raped himself. He doesn't get raped in jail the whole time. Yeah, doesn't get raped in jail the whole time. Gets out for one day and gets raped in the 12-hour window he's out of jail. It's the funniest fucking thing.
That's great.
He wakes up to having a candlestick in his ass, which is just fucking hilarious. And then after he gets out of jail, he goes on a 16-month just fucking killing spree. His search for a sex slave zombie continues. He meets up with a guy named Raymond. And Raymond is the first guy that he kills in this new apartment after jail. Instead of smashing up the bones into powder and sprinkling it into the toilet or into the yard, he keeps bone trophies around his house of Raymond. So he's just got like bones up around his place now. And he cut off his head and painted it gray. I don't know why.
Sure.
I don't know why. I do know that he would periodically take these cock and balls and heads out of the refrigerator and like jerk off onto them or around them or however those puzzle pieces work. Yeah. whatever Lego structure he made out of his self and his dead pieces. I don't even want to think about. But
he says at the bottom of page 1.
Yeah, the bottom of page 2 now. So one time he drank the wrong drink, right? He drugged one of the drinks and drank it himself, and he woke up the next day and all his like valuables were gone. Like,
that's great.
The guy just robbed him blind and left.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, man. You're gonna catch some losses out there if you're drugging people every night.
I'm just thinking, what are the chances? Like, I'm trying to put myself in this other guy's shoes, right? Like, the girl that takes me home from the bar comes home, she pours us a couple drinks, she passes the fuck out, and I'm just a scumbag. I'm like stealing all her shit, but maybe I'm hungry and I go for a snack and I look in the fridge and I see a fucking head in there. I'm robbing her blind. I'm probably not going to go to the cops and
100%.
Like, I'm just going to consider myself fucking lucky for narrowly avoiding being another head in that fucking fridge. Can you imagine?
Also,
oh shit. I'm
years
so glad
later,
she passed out.
Years later, that person is reading the same story you read going, oh my God, I stole all Jeffrey Dahmer's shit. Hilarious.
Exactly. So Jeffrey continues killing people from the bar and wherever he picks them up, right? He's got the system down. But his weird thing was he was just extremely attracted to calves and bicep muscles. He would cut the bicep muscles off of the bone and hold it in one hand while jerking off with the other hand. I don't understand the allure of
it feels weird
muscle.
to nitpick at this point what he's doing.
I don't know. There's weird and then there's jerking off with a calf muscle in your hand. I don't know about that.
Have you seen my calves?
Yeah, you'd be in trouble, buddy.
I'd get it.
You'd be in trouble. Well, you wouldn't, but we'll get to that later. Jeffrey Dahmer, and I think this detail is hilarious, got really obsessed with the movie The Exorcist 3. Not The Exorcist.
What the fuck?
The Exorcist
I didn't know there was
3.
an Exorcist 3.
Well, he did, and he watched it all the fucking time. Was so obsessed with it. He took a guy named Errol Lindsay. Errol, like ERROL or some weird like British spelling. And this was the first guy that he decided, I'm going to try to make a sex zombie out of this guy. I'm not just going to go right for the kill.
Wondering when that was happening, yeah.
I'm going to knock him out like I usually do, but now I'm going to drill a hole into his head and drip hydrochloric acid.
Well, that's going to kill him.
It sure did. At first it woke him up, actually, and he was like, oh, where am I? And then he passed right back out, and he died immediately after that. So rest in peace, Errol Lindsay.
That's like, it's like if something's broke, like your car won't start, and you're like...
Pour battery acid in it.
Yeah, like, you just stab the trunk. It's like, that didn't do it.
Yeah.
What else can I try?
So that didn't work. Another funny thing, he did this to a deaf and mute guy. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it just kind of is. Nobody's safe.
Those screams sounded weird when that happened.
Yeah, you're right about that. I would pay to hear that Oh, please, no, no, don't stab me. Something like that. 14-year-old Laotian child, whose name is so fucked that when I was listening to the story about his name, it sounded like they were saying citizen phone. So I think his name is Citizen Phone.
Okay.
He was from Laos.
Laos? I don't know.
That's it. Image number 2, Casey. Finally, another image. Here's the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that mullet. This kid came running out of the house while so he drugged him, raped him, left him on the floor, and then decided I got to run an errand, right? So I'll just lock the front door. It'll probably be fine. He leaves, goes to runs his errand, comes back to this kid naked out on the grass, rambling in Laotian, hazy as fuck. He's totally still on all the drugs. And the ladies, his neighbors, don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. So he shows up and he's like, oh, he's just this crazy kid. I found him. He's drunk. I'm just waiting for him to, pull himself together. Takes the kid back inside. He's naked, bleeding from the anus. Takes him back inside. The ladies call the cops. And the cops come out of the house. He tells him the same story. He's like, yeah, this is a college buddy. He's actually 19 years old, and he's drunk and blah, blah. The cops are like, okay, buddy. And they leave him. Fucking Ohio's finest. So they leave.
Isn't that the guy that raped that 13-year-old kid? Yeah, but he's better now.
He's better now, though. This kid's 14, so it's totally fine.
Well, I know the ending of the story, actually. And despite how the struggles have gone, I still think he's going to catch Jack Nicklaus. I think he could get healthy again and win a couple more tournaments. And is this not Tiger Woods?
That was Tiger Woods' brother, who's less known, Citizen Phone Woods. He kills this kid. Obviously, he's like, "How dare you leave? Get back here with that bloody anus."
Cops come back the next day and be like, how's your buddy? Is he feeling any better? It's like, yeah, he's gone. He's way better.
Yeah, he's fine. He's totally feeling himself again. Next time around, he finds a guy that's actually consensual with the guy, which is hilarious. But then eventually he wants to leave, and that's a problem. So he throws handcuffs on the guy and knocks him down. And this time he thinks, I'm not going to pour the acid because the last few times that's really gone poorly. I'm going to change it up and maybe do boiling water. I'm going to pour boiling water in the hole this time instead of hydrochloric acid. Works like a charm. Puts them into a coma, but he's still not satisfied. What a fucking spoiled brat.
To have.
They have to be alive and moving around on their own. It's not enough that they're just alive. It's no fun when they're just laying still. So he's still not happy about that, but the guy lives. So he's in a coma state while he's just getting raped in every orifice and probably just getting cut apart piece by piece. It gets to the point where there is no more room in his freezer or refrigerator for actual food. It's just body parts at this point. The last guy that he tries drugging and killing is smart enough at least not to trust the drink that Jeffrey gives him. He just sips on it and realizes, oh man, I'm feeling weird. But he doesn't get knocked out entirely. He runs, he gets the cops, he brings the cops back. Jeffrey Dahmer tries to talk his way out of it, almost does, but then the guy runs inside the house and he's like, no, check this out. There's 7 skulls and 3 vats of acid with abdomens in it. Oh, and also here's Polaroids of all his fucking victims. So the cops look at this and they're like, oh, I don't know. This is a little bit suspicious. Maybe we need to investigate a little further. They do. They find him guilty of 17 murders. He confesses to 17, gets 15 consecutive life sentences in the early 90s. he would have been in jail until 2,900 something. But 2 years later, he doesn't make it that far at all. 2 years later, he finally meets his end. Image number 3, if you would, Casey.
Sure.
This is Christopher Scarver, another inmate at the prison. Excuse me.
DC's got the
I know. It's already 1 o'clock in the morning. The beer has long caused the hiccups. I was just holding it off. I'm glad that we're at the end of the story now. Christopher Scarver is just sick of Jeffrey's shit around the jail. He, Jeffrey, and another guy, Jerry something, get bathroom cleaning duty. And while there, they make their way across over by the weight room somehow. And Scarver has heard all the stories about Dahmer. Dahmer brags about it. He makes like severed arms out of his mashed potatoes and like pours ketchup over it to make it into blood. And he's sick of his shit. Takes a metal bar from the weight room, cracks Dahmer over the head twice with it, and that's it. He dies of his injuries. Also kills Jerry. So in addition to the murder that got him into prison, he tacks on another 2 murder charges for Dahmer and Jerry. And Dahmer is no more. Casey, it's apropos that this be the gentleman that killed him, because if you'll show the next image, please, this was a shocker to me. This was Dahmer's. Could you tell he had a type?
He
Casey?
certainly did. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, guys with black hair.
Name is like Errol Lindsay and fucking... what was the other guy's name? Well, obviously Citizen Phone. We know what he looked like. But Raymond.
Yep. Raymond.
I was totally just thinking like picture number 1. I thought everybody was going to be picture number 1.
John Bon Jovi.
All the way through. All the way through. Not the case. This guy was an equal opportunity, if I do say so. Maybe a little bit of an affirmative active killer. Jeffrey Dahmer. A gentleman in all senses, I think.
You go with that. I'd probably downvote it.
We'll
DC,
see how it works out.
What a goddamn episode. That was a good time.
That was a good time.
Why don't you, if you can make it through it, tell everybody where they can find all stuff.
Please, everybody, go to www.twogoddamngentlemen.com. There you'll find the link to the Patreon, the POV fuck voicemail line. Please leave us a message with who you think is a gentleman, or why not our gentlemen were or were not gentlemen. Say whatever the fuck you want. Just know that whatever you say will likely come on the show, and we will make fun of you. So it's part of the charm. KC, you can also go to patreon.com/twogoddamngentlemen, like you said, to get into the live every week. $10 a month, guys, for that. $2.50 an episode. Fuck, dude, it's even less than that. Sometimes we do 2 episodes a week. Next week, we'll be doing a bonus episode, Shows We Beat. There's so many fucking shows we beat. I have no idea who that's even going to be. But I'll tell you this.
Following week, we have the special plug for next week.
That's right. That's right. A very, very special episode.
Next week on, I think we're going to do it Friday. We'll play it by ear because I am on vacation next week. And this show runs through this setup that's happening here. And it's not coming with me this time.
Highly technical.
It's different. It's too much shit. So we are doing one time, live only, Discord honorary hangout. Where DC and I are going to sit there. He can share a screen from his side. We'll play some funny videos. I will be drunk down in Myrtle Beach. DC will be drunk because it's that episode.
Somehow even further south in more of a vacation town.
That's right. So yes, that's next week, and then Pods of Beat coming up the weekend.
Fuck yeah. I can't wait.
DC, we brought a couple gentlemen. Neither of them I don't think made this century. But both of them were just different. We'll put it that way.
They were.
Very excited for the hangout next week. If you guys are not on the Patreon, join it. Hang out with us next week. And the week after, our search for the ultimate gentleman, well, that continues.
Something just happened very bad, is what happened, guys.
Wolves aren't gay, USA.
That's what you get for talking all that shit, you fucking asshole.
So there you go. Isn't that a great story, ladies and gentlemen?
Andre is shocked.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.